or become huge company, so they must manage and develop the employees so that they can increase the quality and also how they work. So they will become the valuable assets for the company or that organization. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon for all of the participants that are present here in this webinar series, Introduction to Careers A to Z by Career Counseling Department of Fatih Bilingual School. So today the career is Human Resources Manager. So it is very interesting for if you like the social science and then you also like interacting with people, so this job is suitable for you. So it is a human resources manager. So it is a type of manager. So you have the management skill to manage the people. All right. So before we start, what is human resources manager and how to become human resources manager? Let's explore this career. Before that, I want you to write in the chat box. So what do you think? What is a human resources manager? So what is this career about? Okay, can you write on the chat? So let me write in the chat box. So what is? You can write any word that is related with the human resources manager with the career today. Okay, have you ever heard the HR manager before, or maybe you can guess? So, what are they related to? Any subjects that is related with this career, or anything that you know? Okay, so let's wait for your response. All right, so some of you are written as the manager. Yes, that's correct. They are the manager. And then related with the company or the work. Yes, because it is not only in the company, but it is also for any organization or in any there is the production, for example, in the factory and so on. So where they require the manpower or the people, so they need the manager, the human resources manager. Okay, thank you for your guesses here, your interactions. Okay, so that's correct. So it is about the how to manage the people. So it is also the manager, and then it is related with the company, because in the work, like the company, in the factory, well, there are many employees, so they need some team or the managers that look at the people or the human resources in the company. So the role of this manager is very important, because they can increase the quality of the employee. Okay, they can make them better, and they can also they can manage how to improve them. So that's their main target of the human resources manager. All right, thank you. So before we discuss about what is human resources manager, we need to know what are human resources. Okay, so the human resources, when we are talking about the human resources, it means that we are talking about the employees or the men or the people who are working when their roles are varies. They could be they teach they in this division or in another division, and then this set of the people who make up the workforce of an organization, business sector, industry, or economy. So it is a very wide sectors, could be anything that involves production something, or the giving the service like the companies, and then from industry, it could be in the economy and so on. So that the human resources, because without human resources, it will be impossible to do the workforce. Okay, We can replace them by machines, but machines cannot replace the human power, all of them, because human also have the skill, they have the willpower, and so on. So it will be difficult to replace human beings with the machine. Okay, so if the human resources are still there, of course the manager, the ones that will manage them, will be required. Okay, so another concept is human capital. So the knowledge which the individuals embody. So each of the individual, they have the knowledge, and this knowledge, the skills, and how do they work, it should be managed so that in a company they can achieve the common goal. So they have the target, so they can achieve and fulfill that target. So it is important how to manage this set of people. All right, so for today's webinar, we have 3 sections. The first one, we are going to explore what they do, the description of this career, and then after that, the qualifications. Okay, so what are the requirements so that you have to possess the skills and some qualities that are needed for this to be in order to become the human resource manager. And then also how to become one. Of course, you need the education. So after you graduate from high school, so you should study in university, and then you should have more experience by working part-time jobs and so on, and then you apply to the company to become the human resources manager. All right, so the first one, what they do. So the description of the career, what they do. The first one, if we discuss about the human resources. In the human resources, because this is human, so it is not machine, it is not tools, but we are managing the human. So you can imagine that how difficult it is to manage human with their feelings, with their emotion, with their many unpredictable things. Okay, so it will be very difficult. But if you can manage them very well, it will give you a huge advantage. So it could be, they will be more valuable than anything. So when you can educate them, you give them the training, you improve their skills, so they will be very, very important. So they have the values, okay, so that they can improve the quality of the work that they do. So it will be make them difference with the machine, because the machine only we can set them, or the robots, we set them into a certain target and they do their jobs. But for the human, if we can manage them very well, and we can give the increase their level of knowledge and the skills, of course, so they will be very valuable. Okay, so this is very important, how to manage the people or the employees. Okay, so they have huge potential. So you can see they have huge potential, because our human brain, no one's know the capacity of human brain. So it's very amazing. So if you can train them, you can give motivate them so that they can work more diligent and so on. They can increase they can unleash the potential that they have. Okay, so it will be very good for the company, or for any sector of the industry or the economy. And then it is related with the employee, of course. And then if the company selling the products, okay, they can improve the way of them selling the product, and then it can also increase the sale of the products. So it is very important here to manage the people. And then they can do research, training. Okay, so the good infestation is not on the things or the tools or the machineries and so on, but the good infestation is in the people. Okay, so you invest in people. It means that you invest in the employee. For example, you are the boss, you are the CEO of the company. You can invest in the people, in your employees. So you give them training, you give them anything that can increase their knowledge and skills. You give them how to do the training, how to do work efficiently, and then they can increase their skill, language skills, the using of tools or the machineries, and so on. So it is very important here for the to do training for the people, and then also recruit people. Recruiting is very essential also for the human resources manager. They are also responsible to recruit the new employees to the certain company. So they must choose or select the candidates to be the employee, and they also have to test, to do the interview, and to check their backgrounds and so on. Are they capable of doing the work, and must be suitable for the company. Okay, so they have the huge role. And then the performance of the human or the employees are important to be checked regularly, of course. Okay, if their work performance increase or decrease, so what caused them motivated or demotivated, so you have to analyze, and that's one of the job of the human resources manager. And then the leadership, of course. So you have to be able to lead, because you are a manager. It means you can manage something. You have the responsibility. So you have the responsibility for the employees, how to manage them so that they can do their work more efficiently, and then it will be in a good or in a positive ways. All right. So what else for what they do? Human resources manager. They also involves in developing and administering programs. So they can prepare the programs or any planning for example, for this year, for the next year, in the 5 years. So what are the targets for the employee? So for example, this new employee, they must have the basic training in the first 6 months. After that, after the 6 months, they will have another training, or the company must send them into the other countries possible to have more experience and so on. So they must think, and they must plan and design to increase the effectiveness of an organization or business. Okay, so yes, if you invest more, for example, you have the company and or organization, you can invest more in the people, in the employees, so that they can, of course, they will increase the effectiveness of their work, and also the way they work is very important. All right, so next, for the human resources manager, so the management and development of employees. So the general, yes, what they do is how they manage. It's not only manage the people or the employee. For example, they have a work to do. So for example, this employee A, they will do a specific job A. For this employee B, they will do the job B. So they have the specific jobs and what they do. After that, it's not enough only to manage them, to make sure that they work and their performance increase or performance are good, but it is also important how to develop. Okay, so the development is very important for the long term, goals. So in order for the company in the future to become better or become huge company, so they must manage and develop. Okay, develop the employees so that they can increase the quality and also how they work. So they will become the valuable assets for the company or that organization. Okay, so and then that's the job for the human resources. Of course, you have to be able to do teamwork, because you are working with the partners in the groups, in the team, and then after that, you give the employee also the promotion. So it's kind of to motivate them to increase the salary. So when they get more money, they will be happier, and then they can work more enthusiastic. So it's also the possible way how to motivate the employee. So that's the job of the human resources manager. And then another job of this human resources manager is they have this lending their skill and talents to the organization to have it succeed. So the overall, we call the people who are working in a certain company, they are the human resources. So the job of the manager, how to manage them so that they can lend their skills, they can give their skills and talents to the maximum output so that they can help the organization or the company to become a success. So this is another, this is the general what they do for the human resources manager. Okay, next is, they also have the task or the duty for finding, screening, recruiting, and training job applicants. So for a certain company, every year or maybe every 6 months, they open the recruitment, the new recruitment, the job for the job applicants, so they can apply the job in which a division or the sector in the company. So it is the task or the job of this human resources manager. They have to make sure that they have the mechanism to select the new job applicants. So how they proceed with the test, with the interview, or they must present something and so on. So they must make the concept for this. And then also administering employee benefit programs. Yes, there must be programs in the company or industry that are benefit for the employee. So that like the training, like you give them the recreation, of course, there is the gathering, family program, and so on. So you have to make sure that you motivate the employee. Okay, so this is one of the job of the human resources manager. All right, so the second part is the qualification. But before we are talking about the qualification, I would like to share the video. I hope that you can understand better about the human resources manager. So what they do in the company, for example. Let's watch a video. It is by Work Busy's Career Track. Okay, so let's watch it together.
Every team member has a unique set of needs, and for this career, communication is the key to success. Today, we're going to talk to someone whose job means being a great leader. Let's meet a human resources manager. Hi, I'm Viviana.
I'm Clara. Welcome to the Rick Hansen Foundation.
Thank you.
Why don't I show you around?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm Clara. I'm a human resource manager for the Rick Hansen Foundation in Vancouver. An HR manager is a person that looks after the people and the people processes. Every HR generalist would look after recruitment and selection, payroll management, performance management, and teaching leaders to be better leaders. There would be difficult conversations or sensitive situations, and I would recommend solutions or coaching ideas to managers on how to deal with the specific situation. The main difference between an HR manager and an HR specialist is that an HR specialist focuses on a specific HR discipline. An HR manager, for example, is a jack of all trades, and they have a wider range of knowledge on all of the HR disciplines.
So this looks like a very spacious, wide open work environment.
Yes, we are really proud of our accessible office. We're making sure that we have enough space for people to move around with who are in wheelchair, and anybody that would need additional accommodation, we ensure that we have that space, that we can provide that for people who need it.
Wonderful.
What attracted me to this position was I saw that the Rick Hansen Foundation was looking for a human resource manager. The Rick Hansen Foundation is all about creating awareness with people with disabilities. And with myself being hearing impaired, I was immediately connected to the cause. My working hours is from 8:30 to 4:30. And also it depends on what industry you're working on. We ensure that we have work-life balance for our employees, and we also have flexible hours. So you would have people who would come in a little bit later and then work a little bit later. Or sometimes you will have people who work from home. So thank you all of you for coming here today. Today we're going to be covering performance management. You are going to be in contact with people on a daily basis, and your verbal communication and presentation skills are really important because you want people to walk away knowing what you talked about when you were training. If you want to become a human resource manager, typically you would need to have a bachelor's degree in human resources. In my case, I have a bachelor's degree in industrial psychology. There are also other designations which you can follow to increase your education. You could write the CHRP exam. CHRP stands for a Certified Human Resource Professional.
Clara, what are we doing here in the boardroom today?
We are going to be conducting a final interview. Typically, when we bring a candidate in for a final interview, part of the panel would always be an HR person. So in terms of the interview, we're going to be asking you some questions, and then at the end of the interview, you would get an opportunity to ask us questions. Does that sound good? When you provide guidance to an employee on their career, to see that person being promoted is just so rewarding because you've spent time and energy and you've invested in this person, and they've taken that and they've stepped up in their career. I would advise a young human resource professional to do your research on the different HR disciplines. You will know what resonates with you.
Clara, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun with you today, and I really feel like I understand what a human resources manager.
All right, so I hope that you can understand about this, how to become the human resources manager. So you have to, yes, do some the job. So it is not only to manage the people, but you have to be able to manage how they work. You have to provide the motivation. You have to talk with them, the communication, and so on, because it's very important for this job. Okay, and then for this to become the human resources manager, you also have to take the degree in the human resources. So it's just like in the psychology also, because in the psychology you learn how to communicate with the people. So it also helped by learning in the university to take the college major in the human resources manager. All right, so for this from the video, it is from the Clara, we can learn to be the manager. It is not only providing some like how to control the workflow or how to make the meeting and so on, but you have to give them the values also, so they know the cost of their work, so they have the more cooperation and interaction with the company. So that's also will help the process. Okay, so this is for the human resources manager. So let's continue to the next section. Okay, so now for what they we can see the qualification. The first one is about the human resources manager. Define and align organizational purpose. So they must find and tell the other people, of course. So okay, so what is the is there any sense of urgency to do the work, and then create a guiding coalition, develop a change of vision. So in order for the team or for the members, they have the same vision in order to achieve the target. So they must be reminded by the human resources manager, and also how to empower them, and then to generate short-term wins, and then they can give the prize. They also offer look for the salary, they give the promotion, and so on. And then next is they also recruit the best talent by creating, marketing, and selling an employee value proposition. So that is called as the EVP. Okay, there are the components of EVP are like the rewards and benefits, the strategy of recruiting, and the corporate brand. So the employment feedback is also important. So you can make the survey, or you need to take the feedback from the employees. And then for the human resources manager, they can also focus on the employee strengths. So when they know that what are the employee strengths, they can manage them easier. So that they can give certain tasks, and they can improve how to improve a certain individual. So it will be possible if they know their strengths and also their weakness, so that they can improve how they work. And then human resources manager also, they can create organization alignment. It means that how to make a good team. They have the teamwork, and lead by example, how to assign an example for the people, how to motivate them, and to teach them what the goals and so on. Okay, so it is very important here. And then do you accurately measure the same things? It means that for the human resources manager, for the people who are working 1 year, 2 years, or years, more than 10 years, for example, in one company, so they must measure, okay, how their performance, okay, is it increasing, or what should they do to increase their performance. All right, so now we are in the third section, how to become one, the education. All right, so the education, of course, in order to become the human resources manager, you need to have the bachelor degree in the business management, or in the digital marketing degree, or in the psychology, or in the marketing. Okay, so it is possible to become the manager from these social science college majors. Okay, so like the business management is also very broad field. You can be the manager of the human resources. Okay, it also involves in the marketing. And then there are some universities that, according to Key S-Word University rankings for the human resources 2020. So the first one in the Stanford University in USA. After that, the Harvard University, MIT, University of Oxford in UK, ETH, and also in the Singapore. Okay, so because in the best universities in the world, they also pay attention to how to create a good manager for the human resources, because they have the important roles in the society. Of course, in the company or in the industry, so they have the leading role, how to manage the people, to increase the quality, or to improve how the companies or industry in a country. Okay, and then how about in Indonesia? You can find for the college major, for example, in ITB, and then UI, in Undip, and then UNJ, and Universitas Pelita Harapan. So they have good college major for the human resources. Okay, so you can also learn in this jurusan or college major. All right, so thank you very much for your attention. So let me check the question first. So some of you have asked the question. So there is one question from the participant. So the question is, what are the skills are needed to become a manager? Yes. So I have told you before in this webinar also. To become the manager, you have, of course, the skills that are needed, like for the communication. So you have to be able to communicate with your team members, your teammates, with your employees very well. When you do interview, you have to be able to know the backgrounds from the interviewee, or yes, you have to know from the job applicants, and you have to be able to assign them into the appropriate groups of people and so on. So you have to be able, I think the most important skill, this is for the communication, and also the analytic skills for the analysis, and then how you arrange the data that are needed to make a good plan for the employees and so on. Okay, so thank you very much for your question, and don't forget to fill the evaluation form. You will get the e-certificate after this webinar. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.